Hi, welcome. Now, if you put 1,200 into a bank with the interest of 2%, after 44 years, take a guess. How much would it become after 44 years? 1,200. How much it become? Now take a guess. Yeah, write it down on a piece of paper and just your first thought. How much it become? Just a guess. Thank you. Now I got this inspiration because I saw this article and on social media I saw this article. I'm not sure if it is like the makeup, right? So it says that this lady put 1,200 into a bank, and after 44 years, he got back 2,684 and 04 cents. Um, so this is another country, right? So I was like, so in 1973, that's before I born, man. So 1,200. So at that time, 1973, at that time, it's just a huge deposit. Okay, huge. So maybe equivalent to now, maybe 500,000. I'm not sure how it's equivalent to today, right? Oh yeah, you can find out that. Now let's take a look at what can we do with this. Okay, so is that true? Well, you can ask Excel to find out for you. The function is called the FV, a future value. So what you do is that you tell Excel that, hey, this bank give me 2%. Okay, and also it's after 44 years, and in between I didn't put any other further deposit. It's just one time, and then the deposit is this amount because money come out from my pocket, so it's negative. And then I only put it whether uh it's every month, at the beginning of every month, but now here it's not periodic, so we just put I did will do, right? So let's just, okay, drum roll, right? What is that what is that right figure, right? After 44 years. All right. So is, ta-da, very close to what is the, here it says, right, this 2006 and here is 2008, right? 2%. So wow, that could be even lesser than that, right? 1.3 or maybe 1.5 or no, 1.8. Okay, oh, 1.8. Okay, so by the way, you can just adjust it, right? So 1.8%, if compound interest at 1.8% after 44 years is 2,630. Okay, so uh, so what does that mean? That means that uh, if you can put, no, um, since you know that at 1.8% after 44 years you only get 2,630, right? So what if I have a, now that is your original goal, right? So let's just see that this 2,630. So now let's just say that you take half of it. Okay, so half of this. Okay, let's just make it 2,000. It's easy to read that. thousands, right? So after 44 years, if you keep the money only in bank, right, that is 2,192. So let's just make it like, okay, let's say what's they give you 3%, okay? So after 44 years is 3,600. Okay, let's just put 3,700, okay? Now that is supposed to be, right? So what if you know that this deposit is there, right? So you know that, okay, I'm not going to touch this, right? So now, what if I can just put half of it to something other than bank? Okay, if I have something like a bank, but uh, you give them, say, but they give you 10%, only 10%. Okay, 10%, just 10%, yeah. So I put the 500 and out on 10%. So look at that, it become 1,500, right? But you have another 500 into another area, and you go to take 44 years as well, right? So this 500, you go to another bank, right? So something like bank, right? So now, what? Guess how much? It at 10% compound interest rate. Okay, maybe I'll say 7%. Okay, so how much is that? Well, again, we can just gain the function uh, future value, and then click on the interest rate, comma, and 44 years, comma, uh, negative 500, comma, also 1, and enter. That's is 9,814. Now compared to that, you only put 1,000 in a bank that give you 3%. You see the differences? So now, if you will do this, just do this one one time differences, right? That difference is close to this. So you get back a total of 1,000 something, right? So if you do this second method, it's getting this plus this, right? You get 11,000 compared to you put 1,000 in a bag. One it's just that, right? So let's just duplicate this worksheet again, right? So let's put 1,000, right? Just in case that you forgot. Okay, let's just delete this. Uh, we'll just put in this value here. Okay. Oh, why is that so? Why is such a? Oh yeah, that's because of the figure. Okay, so 3%. Okay. Okay, so 1,044 year at 3% is this, right? At 2% it become 2,000 2,360 90. Right? So let's just 2.5. Okay, so maybe 2.3. Okay. Uh, okay, 2.3 is 2,700, and that is 1,000. Now, if you can put this into something, uh, right? So that is that. You put half of this right to another something like a bank, but they give you 7%. That's just 98,000, 9,800 and 11,000. So the difference is before that is 2,700. That's just 3,000, right? So that's about 7,000 differences if you put just half of it. So now you ask me, right? "Hey, so if that's the case, how about I put 70% of it?" Oh, that's a good question. Let's look at the scenario 3. Let's go to the setting, right? So I have three scenario basically. So if my computer is 1,000, let's just put back thousands. And then in the first scenario, that as you can see here, that after 44 years is 2,390 at 2%. And in the second scenario, it's 10% and nothing. But if you put all the 1,000 into into this, it is 10%, and that is 66,000 after 44 years. And in the second scenario is that it, like earlier example, right? We take the 1,000 and split into two. So one is 500, the other is also 500. But now we are just putting it here. Okay. So bear in mind that the first scenario is really just that you put everything here or here, right? So either you have this or you don't have this, right? So let's just say yeah. So originally, if put 1,000 is 2,300. Now, when I put half of it, then it become a 34,000 rather than just 2,300. Now, you ask me, right? Okay, if it's not two and two, right? How about three seven, right? So let's look at the scenario three. Scenario three is yes, exactly split into 3 by 7, right? So three put into a bank, and you want to go for something more day-to-day use, right? So the rest, right, you put it into another bank, another that can give you a 10% interest rate. That will grow into around 9,000 something, right? And you come back with 10,000 something. Wait, how could it be? Uh, all right, let's see. It's 500, right? It's 10%. Divide capital. Oh, oh, I see. It should be two. Eh, 0 point times 0.3. I should say 0.3. Okay, and this one is times 0.7. Ah, okay, okay. 47,000, right? So, so uh as a summary, right, of all these uh three strategy, the difference is that, oops, that gonna be zero one, right? Zero one is just to be one time. Oh yeah, it's either here, right? So if you put all it, it's 66. But that could be not realistic, right? So you take half of it, right, and you put into this, and you get 32,000. If you don't put half of it, you put 70% of it of the 1,000, then you get 46,000. Now, is it very hard to get to get to save 1,000? Well, if 1,000 is very hard to save, then you can start with something like a day. Let's say a day you can save a 5 ringgit. So 5 ringgit, yeah. So now after 30 days, how much you get? Okay, that's well, just take this amount times the 30. Okay, it's 1,050. Now after so a month you can save 150. In 12 months, how much you get? So you get this times this here, and you got 1,800, not just 1,008, right? So let's say you can do this just for, you just consistently save a day of 5 ringgit, right? Every day 5 ringgit for the next uh 365 days, right? So then how much you get, right? So well, just talk about this 365 days, right? So how much you get, how much you can save? Just 5 ringgit a day. Yeah, it's 1,835, right? So 1,835, just put it here, 1,835. Okay, it's just 5 ringgit a day. So let's take a look at, after 44 years is 120,000. So let's say that you can keep it up for the next 10 years. 10 years. Okay, next 10 years. So that will be something quite understandable, is that you can have the amount, right? So let's just put there for 10 years. So that is 4,000 only. Uh, for 10 years, only 4,000. But if 20 years, it become grow into 12,000 something. But 44 years is huge differences, right? So that is because that the compound interest at the certain interest rate, right? It will give you a lot of. It's not just the number of years. It's that the interest rate. Okay, so this is the this is a shocking, maybe, right? To me it's quite shocking also, right? And you can just start with 5 ringgit, save 5 ringgit. Now how do you save 5 ringgit? Now you say that the food now is very expensive. Now let's say I go to a store, right? It's it has to fetch about 10 ringgit already now, right? Before COVID time, we can get it at 7. Okay, now it's 10, right? Because it has the noodle, so one is 10. A breakfast is 10, and then a lunch is another 10. Uh, and also a dinner is another 10. Okay, so oh, so that it becomes 30. Okay, so originally that is the amount. Now, if we can change that to vegetarian, so at this 7. As for lunch, right? Maybe you can say you eat a bread, so that maybe give you say 5. At the dinner time, you eat an apple a day. Okay, you go less social activities, and that give you maybe 5. So how much you save? Let's just add this. So what's the difference? So the difference is this minus this. That's 30 ringgit. Not you see, that's not every day. Every day you can save 13. If you would change it to slightly lesser. Okay, let's just say that yeah, see that's 13. So let's just you do a habit of this for 5 days, for 5 days a week. Saturday and Sunday, right? You want to eat Sunday more, right? So you can, right? So that will give you ability to save 1,825 or even more, right? Say now you know that you can save 310. So now with 3,650, then you get after 44 years you get 241. So this is particularly important for people who are just uh, started coming out to work, right? So if you can just save, I don't want you to save 100 a day. Uh, it is not quite possible for us for a starter. But if you're at age of 22 or 20, you get your first job, you start saving for 10 ringgit a day or 5 ringgit a day, right? Or 5 ringgit a day, or even just if you say, 5 ringgit is just too much. Okay, okay, I understand. I understand. You just save 1 ringgit a day. Is that okay? 1 ringgit. The idea is that to start a habit, start something very, very affordable, very, very easy, and put the money into a jar. So seed it yourself. The idea is not about the money, the amount. The idea is about the habit to keep the money into something you can see, visible. Make it as a habit. So if you can start with this mini habit, a very atomic habit, if you read the book, then you will understand that. Okay. So I hope that this video not only teach you on Excel uh, fun the Excel function, right? So you see, right? Every day when we do, we can start with just a single one, a very very simple guide, a simple things, right? So how do I created this Excel formula guide? It all start with just uh it start with one function only, right? At the very beginning, this guy was just start with there is nothing but, of course, right? when it started, it is really just empty. It's just a new slide. It's just an empty slide. Oh, at that point, uh, I don't have so many. Okay, but it all start with just one. If you can start with just one thing, go to click on the insert, right? So why don't you just try it, right? So insert, and then I just want you to just add a add one thing, like say that you just learn FV, right? So just put the FV, and the next thing is that you have learn how to do this, and you can key in this or into this here, right? So you can just say this is the one, and then you can do a screenshot, right? Do a screenshot, just that. Do a screenshot, okay, and then paste it here, and okay, that's it. I just want you to do these two things, save it as a PowerPoint. One day you just choose one Excel function, you put it into this, and over a time, a period of 265 days, you have a 365 Excel function you have explore. And you can establish, you can publish the book. And that book, you can earn a 10 ringgit. Will be good, will it be good? Right, and that 10 ringgit, you just keep it into, you don't even need to save because that book will help you. Every day, just one person buy a book from you, you get 10. And that's 3,650. Now, that time, you don't need to eat a veggie. Of course, it's always good to eat more vegetable. Now you got 3,650. My friend, that is huge. That is huge. 3,650 over 44 years. Okay, let's say you don't want to wait for 44 years. You want for just 20 years. Okay, so that's 24,000, and that's all because that you write a book. You write an Excel guide, right? Yeah, you have 365 Excel functions and you talk about it and you publish it, right? So, and you sell it for 20 and you sell it to 365. No, you just want to sell it to uh, all the libraries, all the, that's possible, right? You just write it for just 1 year in 2023, year 2023. If you can just make that one small change, you will start to have a book. And it all started with, remember, it's all started with a PowerPoint where they give you a power and you put in your whatever you learn, your knowledge to this, and you got a book and you start selling it, right? After a year or maybe half a year, you can start selling. It always works. All right, so I hope that this helps you, and thanks for watching. So in this video, you learn, start with a quiz, right? And start asking you, hey, if you put 1,000 into a bank at 2 point something, and for say 20 years, that will become this. And if I change it to 44 years, right? So 44 years, you only want to get it when you retire at the time. That's close to 3 6 something. But let's just put that 2.3%. Okay, so not even that 2.1%. You say, right, how can it be, right? So, but if you take a look at the banks, right, 2.2% after 44 years, really just 2,600 something only, right? In regards of which country, right? If the insurance is the same, it is the same. So now, if you can just put a 500, half of this into another, it will become something like this. You see that here? So I would think you need this as well, right? So if we just put there, uh, So I go back to the setting, change it to 1000. So when I change 1000, it will affect this scenario 1, as you can see here. So that's 10%. So in scenario 1, you either take this or put everything here. That could be very risky. But a thousand, right? It's not that risky. Let's look at the scenario 2, right? So this is 500 and 500. That is 33,000. Oh, cool, man. And look at scenario 3. Right, strategy is I think 30% is still put into deposit, right? So yeah, you just like the bank so much, you do 300, and but the 70% you put it into you know, another vehicle that can give you 10%. Uh, don't go too much, right? So maybe say it give you 8%. Yeah, you can still go with it, right? So you still have 21,000 compared to the scenario one where you get 2,000 after 44 years. So that is 44 years, right? So say you want to get all this money at since now your age is say what do you say call that? Okay, also state that yeah, now let's say in 2022 3 you are age 20. Okay, this is 20. Okay, so 10 years time, in 10 years time, so what will you, how would you become? So you become, of course, you take this plus 10, right? Plus 10 years. So same goes to here, right? So you become 30 years, and then you just drag here, and you can see that by year 20, this is your year. Okay, year 20. So again, I repeat, right? This one is the year, and this is your age, and 20, 30, 40, 50. Right? Okay, let's say you want to cash out right, at these 50 years. That means it's like 10, 20, 30 years, right? 30 years later, right? So 30 years later at 2053, 30 years later, uh, 30 years later, then you got 70,000 at the, if you put the money into a vehicle that's 10%. Oh, so, right, see, this is the one. But if you put the money or in in a uh in a bank, right? This is risk also. And then here you see that this is 8%. Now uh but also, having said that, you also need to think about that this money here, you got to put it not in a single stock, right? Not in a single stock uh, counter, right? Because any company can go bankrupt, right? I don't care you are Tesla or something, right? So competition is fierce. So a single stock is very, very dangerous. Or a single property. I also investment in property. Also very dangerous because that uh provided the property you cannot touch yet. Is just say you buy and then they build later. So this guy, for example, I buy this Hayden, so Imperial Mall, and I lost a lot. Why is that so? Because that when I buy the time, the shopping mall is not there yet, and just judging by the haters, their previous record, right, on this Palawan Tatara Palawan Mall, right? So I and my wife invested in it. So you see that, and now we are suffering every single month. We have to pay quite a large amount of money, and on top of that, I'm now at 43. I have two kids. Everything become very, very burdensome. That's because that I invest into a single company, and that company is not fulfilling uh, their 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 promises, right? It's Hayden led. Okay, so be careful about this company. But it's not only this property company, right? You can name any property company, right? So they can they can choose not to complete that property, and yet you sign on the bank loan. That is very dangerous. So if you can, right, uh, buy a second hand house. You can start with small. Always start with something small, right? It can be an apartment, it can be a flat, right? So then from there you own a company, you own a property. You can stay into it, right? You can stay in it. So that is how people grow their uh, in- grows their income, right? So yes, you can invest in a flat. You stay yourself. After 10 or 20 years, you own the house. See that? So if you find that this is still not something you want to, because in KL the property price is so high, well then you don't invest that, right? So then you invest in something called unit trust. So instead of saving it, if it invest in one company, they invest in multiple company, and so 10 companies, there tends to be, just say that it cannot be 10 company all die, right? It could be 2 per company bankrupt. Then there's another 8 company, and there are few are doing very well. So that's why you put the money into a unit trust company fund will do, right? So it's the same thing when you put money into a EPF. They are also a fund company. So what does this fund company do? They invest in a several company. I mean, just not just 10. It can be invest in 10, 100 companies, right? With your money or 100 ringgit, they put into a, a 100 companies. So I think that the risk will be spread out. So So, in a nutshell, is that uh, you need to invest, and don't invest in a single company or single stock. Right? So a single stock. Right? So just don't invest in a single one. Right? So don't put every money into a basket. This is the most risky one. Right? So if you don't believe me, put all the egg into a basket, and then right without cover, and now put all the 10 eggs into a basket, and then now you go out of the street and then run with the basket of egg, and you tell me what is the experience, right? You just go and try it out, right? It's just 10 eggs. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. This is my one day one video production. Thank you.